updates and frenzy relating to Bollywood, international movies, and web series took place this week. So I had to talk about everything. Do let me know in the comments below if you want to see a weekly roundup of me going live on YouTube where all of us can talk about everything related to cinema. It'll be fun to discuss with all of you everything relating to updates, theories, favorites, and worse, and more, of course, with all of you. Let me know in the comments. Let's get to the first thing. Khaali Peeli. The first major event that took place, at least regarding Hindi cinema, was the teaser of Khaali Peeli came out, starring Ishan Khattar and Ananya Pandey in lead roles. First of all, the Indian audience is relentless in completely rejecting any films relating to star children. The trailer, irrespective of the content, in less than 24 hours got over 400,000 downvotes. Marginally reflective of the content of the film, but let's be honest, more to do with the several debates regarding the upper hand that star kids have with access to roles and opportunities. Beyond the issue of insiders versus outsiders, objectively, let's talk about a few things. I assume that this movie will eventually release on the digital platform ZEE5. Irrespective, the film is set up as a cat and mouse thriller of two people, a girl who runs away with a bagload of cash and a boy, a generic tapori Mumbai taxiwala, used as a means to aid fleeing. Do they know each other? What is she running away from? Is basically the crux. I saw many people constantly creating parallels with Vijay Deverakonda's Taxiwala, and one thing's for sure, the Hindi film will definitely not be as complex and layered as the Telugu film, which eventually developed into a psychological thriller. Khaali Peeli is more or less an attempt at a comedic thriller. One positive takeaway that I have regarding the film is that Jaideep Ahlawat seems to be the antagonist. One thing I'm definitely sure about is that his presence is going to steal the show. Finally, if the film is planning for a digital release, I wonder how audiences will react to a commercial masala film like this on their laptops. Because let's be honest, it's precisely that. While I appreciate Khattar and his work in Beyond the Clouds, Ananya as one actor, I've never had it taken aback by her craft moment. This is just another case of talent being presented in a particular light to fit the mold of what works in the commercial Hindi space. The over-the-top action, the one-liners, the slow-motion entries, the dance numbers. Where the concept and pitch itself doesn't really excite me, I would like to know your opinion regarding the teaser. Mirzapur. Finally. Yes, it's here. Literally every week that Amazon Prime Video released a trailer or a snippet of a new show, the only thing that the audiences were concerned about was Mirzapur Season 2. I mean, I can't blame the audience. If you're literally going to leave us with a moment reminiscent of the Red Wedding from Game of Thrones, they're bound to get impatient as they want answers and some kind of closure. I'm going to be totally honest over here, okay? You can hate me for this opinion, but here it goes. By the way, spoiler alert, I'm going to be talking about the end of Season 1. I was absolutely gutted and fuming that they killed Vikrant Massey's character, Bablu, who according to me was just a more intriguing character of the two brothers. Ali Fazal as Guddu, who is mostly reactionary in Season 1, I genuinely hope develops into a character full of rage and vigilant for a change in Season 2, so that it can be an enthralling journey of vengeance when he comes face to face with Munna. I honestly cannot wait though. The hype around this show is so intense and real. Scheduled to release on 23rd October, audiences are more excited about the release date reveal of this show rather than the many big budget Hindi movie releases happening currently. DC this week was just dropping gem after gem with their global convention DC Fandom, which saw a bunch of releases and first looks. I'll go in ascending order of what I loved and I'm looking forward to the most. There's a lot to pack over here, so let's go. Black Adam. A superhero people know less of is Black Adam. DC released its teaser for the arch nemesis of Captain Marvel, and not the Captain Marvel that you're thinking of, not Brie Larson, but the Captain Marvel of DC. Yes, popularly known as Shazam, played by Zachary Levi, who was actually created 17 years earlier than the Marvel superhero. Both companies with this odd case of intellectual property have characters named Captain Marvel, where originally Black Adam was an out-and-out villain, a corrupt son of an ancient Egypt pharaoh. The 21st century comics have presented him as an anti-hero, which this film seems to follow that storyline. Wrongfully imprisoned and a tarnished reputation. His resurgence, the appearance of the Justice Society of America, and the fact that it is set in the current timeline of the DC universe, you know very well things are going to shake up. Can't wait for this one. Wonder Woman. I absolutely had a blast watching Wonder Woman in 2017. The hidden island of Themyscira, the world of capable and powerful women warriors, the integration of the First World War, and the fact that a superhero is in the sequences of combat, and the eventual plan of prohibiting the destructive plans of the Germans. Where I wished for a more compelling antagonist, The film was holistically successful in providing a platform for a badass superhero like Wonder Woman. The sequel, also directed by Patty Jenkins, will be based during the Cold War. As hindrances come in the form of Maxwell Lord, the shrewd meta-human businessman played by Pedro Pascal, and Cheetah or Barbara Ann Minerva, played interestingly by Kristen Wiig. While I don't doubt Wiig's capability as the antagonist, it's interesting how the actor, known mostly for comedic roles, will fit as the full of jealousy and extremely neurotic villain. Suicide Squad. Can I just say how thrilled I am with the fact that James Gunn is the director of the new Suicide Squad? The same man who directed Guardians of Galaxy? I mean, come on, let's be honest. Besides Harley Quinn, the first Suicide Squad was painful in its portrayal and storytelling. Seeing Enchantress just dance along as the Misfits figured out that it's best to work together was a slog. Let's not forget this too. I mean, whatever this was. The new film is now going to follow the same narrative as the 2016 film and will present new characters and presumably set in the 1970s, during the case of several proxy wars taking place all over the world. The Snyder Cut. If you know stories around the Justice League and the absolute pandemonium that was taking place in its post-production, then you know the final product we saw definitely was not as was initially envisioned. Zack Snyder, the credited director, had to opt out of the post-production process due to the unfortunate loss of his daughter. Joss Whedon was roped in to complete the film, director of the first two Avengers by the way. Remember, coming from a Marvel school of thought and treatment. The rumors that spread around of reshoots and the hilarious story of Cavill, his mustache and the CGI cost due to Mission Impossible. And then the worst of the conflicting stories of what version did the audience actually see. Producers claiming that 80 to 85% was what was originally shot, while Snyder stated a fourth of his material was the final edit. Hence comes in the Snyder Cut, after many demands and petitions by fans, what Zack Snyder intended to show us, and which will release on HBO Max next year. From the first frame of Darkseid, Steppenwolf surprisingly looking way more menacing, the debacle that was Cyborg's arc getting actually fleshed out, and Superman sporting the black suit, among many other things. DC staying in its lane and being unapologetically themselves is what the fans love, and I honestly cannot wait to watch this more gritty, real, dark and fleshed out Justice League as it should have been all along. Batman, of course, I have to talk about it. Matt Reeves' Batman with Robert Pattinson. By the way, I have to clarify, I was one of those hipsters who had absolute faith in Pattinson when he was announced as Batman, unlike many who still saw him as the Twilight Kid. The film's first look, its fresh take on the Dark Knight, and its detailing is what stood out to me. The film will explore more of what Batman comics have focused on, but the films barely have. Batman's detective skills. With the existence of an unrecognizable Penguin played by Colin Farrell, a feisty Catwoman played by Zoe Kravitz, and a much more grounded in reality Riddler played by Paul Dano, as compared to the gimmicky over-the-top Jim Carrey portrayal, a young Bruce Wayne will have to figure who, what, and why, in what seems to be a Batman set up like a crime thriller, and I am digging the treatment. Something in the way by Nirvana playing as the crime scene is revealed, the dark visual treatment, I want it now. What did you think of it? And that was the video, guys. Please write it down in the comments below. What are your thoughts of the several things that have come out this week? Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.